A former Jeffersonville police officer is sentenced to just over a year in federal prison for lying while buying guns. Todd Wilson pleaded guilty to making a false statement in connection with purchasing a firearm. Court documents show that while he was a Jeffersonville police officer, he forged signatures on paperwork law enforcement officers used to buy guns. From 2020 to 2021, Wilson abused his position by lying during the purchase of 9 firearms on 8 separate occasions from a federally licensed dealer in Jeffersonville. Prosecutors say Wilson gifted 3 guns and sold a 4th for $400. E-tracing on those weapons showed Jeff police, not Wilson or any of the other owners. Wilson retired from the force during that investigation.
A widely shared video of a high school football game in Covington is sparking debate over the actions of Allegheny County Sheriff's deputies. A man was removed from the stands, the sheriff says, for disorderly conduct, but witnesses say it went too far. 10 News reporter Omose Iguodaro has a story.
Videos posted online show deputies restraining Richard Jordan. It happened Friday night at a Covington High School football game.
They trying to get me for disorderly conduct at a football game. When I was not being disorderly, I was just being a fan.
Some witnesses claim deputies used excessive force. Beth Woodson, whose daughter is on the cheerleading team, recorded and posted video of the incident.
I saw Mr. Jordan, throw his hands up and as if he was saying no, that he had not done something. At that point, I saw Sheriff Moore reaching out, putting his hand on Mr. Jordan's neck and kind of pushing him backward. At that point, I heard Mr. Jordan say, who is this man? Get this man off me, directed at Sheriff Moore, who was not in law enforcement uniform.
Now, Richard Jordan says he was simply here to cheer on for his son's football team as usual, but deputies see it differently. They called his behavior disorderly. Deputies say Jordan appeared intoxicated and was blocking other fans' view.
Had no action been taken, Mr. Jordan could possibly have been continued to harass fans and students. I fully stand by my actions. In this case, the escalation was entirely the result of Mr. Jordan's decision not to comply with lawful commands.
Jordan denies accusations. He says fans and students know him as a positive presence in the crowd. Now he's fighting the disorderly conduct charge and says he's working with an attorney to pursue charges against the sheriff.
I'm just always out there trying to hype them up so them boys can hear them and motivate them. Make them excited to be out there playing football. Let them know that their family and friends are behind them. That is my sole purpose of going to these games.
In Virginia, law enforcement officers are prohibited from using neck restraints unless it is immediately necessary to prevent death or serious injury. State police are now investigating whether deputies acted outside the law. Officials say body camera footage and witness statements are being reviewed. In Allegheny County, I'm Omose Iguodaro, 10 News, working for you.
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. All right. We're going to start our day out talking about fashion. This dude has a fashionable haircut, and that's what I call a Betty Crocker hairdo, even though you can see it's all grown out. He's got a bushy Betty, is what we call that. And, I went and got my haircut. Those of you that, watch the show every day, you've noticed that I went and got a snip. And I told the barber, I said, don't give me a Betty Crocker haircut. And he said, how about a beaker? And you can just pat it down. I said, you're all right. Okay. And this is what we have here today. We have a former Scott County deputy who's been charged with 46 felonies. Carl E. Rose of Sykeston faces 46 felony charges, including forgery, stealing, and money laundering, with alleged losses over $200,000. He's currently being held in Stoddard County Jail for civil contempt. Contemptuous bastard. Carl E. Rose of Sykeston is charged with 46 felonies, including money laundering, stealing, and forgery, and is being held in civil contempt there in the Stoddard County Jail. Rose was charged with 46 felonies, including 16 counts of forgery, 2 counts of defrauding secured creditors, 25 counts of stealing, $750 or more, 3 counts of money laundering or attempted money laundering, This happened on February 27, 2024. He also was charged with 4 misdemeanors for stealing. What the hell's wrong with this guy? I guess it's expensive to keep up a hairstyle like that. You can see he had let it go. Okay. Rose is a former deputy of the Scott County Sheriff's Office, and he ran as a Republican candidate for sheriff in 2020 election. Former Scott County Sheriff Wes Drury fired Rose as a deputy after Rose announced he was running against Drury. A Southeast Missourian article states Drury denied that Rose was firing any. What? Okay, there are 2 probable cause statements filed in blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. According to the probable cause statement, victim 1 arrived at the Sanchez County Department of Public Safety to report incidents of forgery and stealing, which occurred there at the bank. The victim identified himself as the co-owner of the funeral directory of the South Funeral Services and an officer within the, Rose's blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. Okay, so victim 1, victim 2, victim 3, oh my goodness, there's too many. He did too much bad stuff. I'm not going to read all about it. My goodness. Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe it. All we know is he's a bad apple, and they made it on the show. Thanks for being here, folks. Let's move on.
It's been 1 year since former Letcher County Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins was arrested for shooting and killing District Judge Kevin Mullins inside his chambers. We're learning new details about the days leading up to that shooting. Kylie Hill has the story.
Just 3 days before then Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins allegedly murdered Letcher County District Judge Kevin Mullins, Steins gave a deposition in a civil suit.
The lawsuit I filed, I guess, got tangled up with the allegations that Sheriff Steins murdered Judge Mullins.
That's Ned Pillersdorf. He represents Sabrina Atkins, who filed a 2022 federal civil rights lawsuit. It was against Letcher County Deputy Ben Fields and others in the sheriff's office.
The world has changed. I never had hardly any female clients, and I'd say most of my caseload, I'm a criminal defense lawyer, is women and drug charges. That's what's going on in Appalachian courtrooms today.
Atkins' testimony led to a prison sentence for Fields. He ran the county's home detention program. Atkins testified that the system puts women at risk of sexual exploitation.
The reality is we have the courts are flooded with women, drug charges, and often the only way to get them out of jail is an ankle bracelet. And these women are so easily subject to sexual extortion.
Atkins alleged she couldn't afford the $85 weekly fee charge for her ankle bracelet, and Fields provided favorable treatment for sex. The lawsuit alleges this happened inside Mullins' chamber for 6 months.
He does have some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers.
What kind of stuff?
Just with girls, sexual and stuff.
What describe? Have you seen the videos?
I've seen one partly, and just them having sex with girls for their bail to get out of jail.
Who was having sex?
Ben and just some higher ups up there.
Who?
The judge and.
You saw the video?
Yeah.
It also accuses Steins of deliberate indifference and failing to adequately train and supervise.
The reality is if you're a woman on an ankle bracelet with a drug charge, you know a simple phone call to the judge that you violated some term, you're back in jail. And these women know they won't be believed.
2 days after the suit was filed, Steins fired Fields, and later Fields pleaded guilty to several sexual felonies. Pillersdorf says, unfortunately, he doesn't believe what happened in Letcher County is an isolated incident.
What I'm hoping to get out of all this is just to protect my female clients and other female criminal defendants.
Kylie Hill, Fox 56 News.
Steins is being held at the Leslie County Detention Center without bond. Court filings show prosecutors are seeking to have the trial moved to another county, claiming Letcher County residents had to vote for Mullins and Steins at some point. Steins' attorney is planning to present an insanity defense.
This one goes out to that one dude that doesn't like my unhumorous commentary. Former Milford High School SRO arrested after allegations of inappropriate behavior with student. Milford, Ohio, a former Miami Township police officer and school resource officer at Milford High School, has been arrested after allegations were made that he'd had inappropriate communications with a student, according to the Claremont County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office said 51-year-old Andrew Warren Bobb was arrested on September 19th on charges of tampering with evidence and violating a protection order. On August 22nd, a concerned citizen went to the sheriff's office to report, quote, a possible inappropriate relationship between former Milford High School student and Bob, who was the school's SRO at the time. That person showed police a photo of Bob and the student in a state that would be inappropriate considering his former position, the sheriff's office said. A search of the cell phone seized from Bob also determined he'd removed, destroyed, and or altered evidence on it. However, investigators determined the original photo shown to the sheriff's office was taken after the student had legally become an adult and after Bob was no longer a police officer. Authorities tracked Bob down to Columbia, Tennessee, where he'd moved after leaving Miami Township Police Department. With the help of the Maury County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee, Bob was arrested. He was extradited back to Claremont County on September 20th. On Monday, in court, a judge granted him a $50,000 bond, of which he must pay 10%. The case has not yet gone before a grand jury, which could result in more charges against Bob. Quote, no one is above the law, not even those who wore the badge, said Claremont County Sheriff Chris Stratton in a press release. This former officer betrayed the trust of the public and the values we swear to uphold. My office will pursue accountability without fear or favor. If you disagree with, shutting up. Okay, thanks for being here, folks. Let's move on.
An auxiliary deputy in Monroe County is facing a DUI charge after being arrested in Blount County. According to a post from Monroe County Sheriff Tommy Jones, Jared Fowler was arrested earlier this morning for driving under the influence. Sheriff Jones says Fowler has already been fired from his position. Fowler reportedly began working with the sheriff's office in August last year. We are working to keep you updated with the latest on this case.
Tonight, the smoking gun documents in the case against former Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez. Hundreds of pages of evidence, massive amounts of cash, and a trail of text messages between everyone involved. 9 Investigates breaks open the Lopez files right now on WFTV Tonight.
Good evening. Channel 9 now has all the evidence in the case against Marcos Lopez, a story we first broke on Channel 9. I'm Greg Warmith.
I'm Martha Sagowski. For the last 4 hours, our team has been sifting through all of this, 255 pages of new documents that were just released.
And to break it all down for you, we have a team of reporters that have been sifting through all of this new evidence in the case, and we want to get right to what could be the most crucial pieces of that evidence. Reporter Sabrina Majori joins me live, and you've been looking at text messages involving Marcos Lopez, Sabrina.
Yeah, Greg, these messages detail Marcos Lopez's involvement in all of this, including introducing some of the key players, and they shed light on the protection he allegedly offered. One of the most shocking pieces of evidence, this message sent from Lopez to one of the co-conspirators. It's from before he's elected sheriff. Lopez states, no matter what the outcome is, when I win, we start the first internet amusement cafe in Osceola County. You will be safe and not have to worry about anything because I will be your sheriff. The messages also show deputies showed up at one of the gambling clubs in 2022. You can see this photo sent to Lopez, accompanied by a text saying, your deputies is at the Eclipse. Lopez responds saying, quote, let me know if they say something. You should have no issues. The messages also show Lopez discuss payments with his alleged co-conspirators multiple times, and they took photos together. One message sent from Lopez says, quote, also remember we made an agreement with Kate to pay me some money for the connection starting December 1st. How are we going to do it? Investigators say in total, Lopez received between $600,000 and $700,000 for his role in the enterprise.
And there are pages and pages of text messages and emails in the arrest affidavit. They show Lopez also allegedly played a role in trying to expand the illegal businesses. Some of the messages were about scouting new locations with the co-conspirators. Martha.
Sabrina, thank you so much. And our team coverage continues right now live with reporter JJ Burton. JJ, you have been looking at the new details, especially of the timeline and when this whole investigation began.
And this all started in 2019. That's before Marcos Lopez became the sheriff. Now, here's that timeline again. In 2020, he wins the race for Osceola County Sheriff. Investigators then start looking into Krishna Dukaran for ties with illegal gambling. He agrees to be an informant, and in 2022, he opens the Eclipse Social Club. The investigation then heats up in 23, with investigators conducting several undercover stings at multiple clubs with gaming machines. In 2024, a judge signs 5 warrants to place tracking devices on Krishna's vehicle. They track him making several trips to and from multiple clubs with gaming machines. That same year, he exchanges money with undercover agents. And of course, in June of this year, we were the first to tell you when Marcos Lopez was arrested, along with others connected to this, including his ex-wife. Martha.
All right, thanks so much, JJ, for that breakdown of the timeline.
Yeah, it's important to piece this together piece by piece, quite literally. Now, this case came together really on witness testimony.
And our team coverage continuing right now with Nick Pampantonis in the studio. Nick, this is all about who told on who.
You know, at the end of the day, everyone threw everyone else under the bus. Mostly these three: the ringleader, the manager, and the real estate expert. Agents got their foothold into the business, got their evidence together, and first approached the manager, Sharon Frederick. She wasted no time saying it was her job to count the money and pay the bills. And then they met with the ringleader, Krishna Dukaran. They say he tried to claim innocence and told them he was just a landlord. But he changed his story. The real estate expert didn't help him there. In the middle of Dukaran's interview with police, the real estate agent called and was put on speakerphone with the detectives in the room. In that call, he unraveled lies and explained the role each person played in this operation. Both said Lopez gave the ringleader a deputy badge they found during a raid, and they said he bragged about his friendship with Lopez to everyone else and how Lopez was protecting the illegal organization. Lopez was the one person left out of all of this. At one point, he told the ringleader Governor DeSantis contacted him asking about which gaming rooms were being investigated. It was a question Lopez could not answer. Greg and Martha?
All right, Nick, thanks so much. And just 2.5 weeks after Lopez was arrested, his estranged wife was also put in cuffs. The warrant says that Robin Severance Lopez had a cleaning company. Investigators say it was created to collect payments to her husband. And when confronted by investigators about her knowledge of the players, she said no. But they had pictures and they had messages proving that she did. She also made large deposits after Lopez's arrest. She was released from jail and her GPS monitor taken away.
Now, the documents also show Lopez said he needed money from his partners, now co-defendants, for his campaign. This is him being released from jail on bond. Investigators say his campaign manager, Ruben De Jesus, did take money from at least one of them to help win his election. Now, we're joined by Channel 9 investigative reporter Shannon Butler, who first broke this story back in June.
And Shannon, this is just so much to go through. I know you've been through it. Of all the evidence, what sticks out the most to you?
I think what sticks out the most to me is what's not in those documents. All of that, I think we still are all trying to wrap our head around that Lopez is the top law enforcement official, was, in Osceola County, that could be accused of something like this. Look at those text messages. I'll protect you. Everything's going to be fine here. I think we're all still trying to kind of wrestle with that, right? But it's what's not in there. I was really surprised that there were not charges surrounding those political contributions. You know, that is a big deal, and there are not charges with that. I think what's not in there is the most surprising to me.
At the very basis of this, though, you have a major law enforcement member completely, according to these documents, involved in the cover-up, the crime, the collecting of money. I mean, this is a very significant document.
And all the evidence is there. There's no hiding. You know, the texting and the electronic trail that he made.
Well, and that's, I think, how it was able to go on for so long. I mean, we know investigators were looking at this for a very long time, years, but I think it got to happen for so long because of who he was.
Yeah, and we also learned, I think, tonight, maybe for the first time for me anyway, the confidential informant that was used throughout this process.
Yes, I think that was how this all kind of unraveled. Marcos Lopez was not the intended target originally in all of this. As you can see as we go through this, he was not the intended target, but you just never know what people know.
Yeah, and everybody, as Nick said, everybody threw everybody under the bus.
Well,
they did.
That's what happens when you face jail time.
That's exactly right.
And it's federal, which makes it even worse.
That's it for this morning. But who knows what the night will bring. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you later.